Greetings and welcome back to Creeper World 4. This map is by request of a couple of people, Orbital Insertion back in the Colonies. And this is by Fireswamp. It's a moderately popular map, and Fireswamp is one of the top very handful of speedrunners for the game, so it really knows their stuff. You're tasked with establishing a beachhead on a resource-rich planet that recently fell to the Creeper. In addition to the lack of enemy structures and abundance of resources, we have a large quantity of orbital weapons. With all of these advantages, how hard could this be? Well, look at the map. You see anywhere to land? Yeah, me neither. That's the problem that we have to face. Okay, so no initial briefing. Let's take a look around. Big sea of creeper. There's a delegate here and that's it. No spores, no blobs, no emitters, none of that. There's about 3 million creeper on this map, just a hair over. Remember, the wave had 6 million. This is only half that amount, but of course the wave was all compressed on one side and we had time to build up for it. Here the big question is, where and how do we even land? We do have a ton of urns. That's going to be a big factor for us. You can see the 20 orbitals here as well. We definitely have lots of resources, resource terrain here, urns that don't need much work to uncover, and blue-white ore. So clearly this is where we're going to start. How, though? How do we land without getting blown up? That is probably one of the trickiest parts of the entire level. And what we're going to do is the whole singularity conversion trick. So I want it to be some ways away from the edge of the map so that it can suck in from the outside. Additional creeper into the singularity. And if you recall, in the wave I mentioned about 15 to 20 second delay after the singularity hits to fire the conversion. Well, after doing some more testing on this map, I think 24 seconds is actually the right amount. Look at the display on the right side, or left side rather, lower left. We're getting just over 1,000 roughly inside the singularity here. And boom, takes 2 seconds to land. So at the 26 second mark, I'm going to pop my conversion. Alright. So it'll update more in a moment, but this is going to get us slightly over 50k, which is like a 60th of the amount of creeper on the map. So it's not going to be enough to make a big difference. There's just too much territory here. What it is going to do is give us a landing area. Now we are going to have more orbitals than we need, so I'm going to deploy some rain to just thin out a bit more of the creeper. Whether rain or singularity conversion or whatever is the best method in terms of getting rid of creeper depends on how deep it is, but I found it to be somewhat better to use the rains here. So we're spreading them out a decent amount, but then also trying to just, lower down somewhat the overall amount of creeper in this area. Give us a little bit more of a palatable start. And then we want to set out our initial buildings. Now there is an energy crate here, 100 energy, and that's going to be enough for us to immediately build 3 miners when you combine it with the income from the Rift Lab. And then a key part here is earning everything as quickly as we can to get all the urns over here so that we can use them. So 3 earned miners, it's the same as 15 that aren't earned. That's going to be a big, significant thing for us. Then we just wait. You can see the Rift Lab taking damage, the rain hitting, but the Rift Lab can survive some hits. So as long as we keep the creeper away, and we are, as the singularity goes away, our pile of AC reduces, spreads outward, and everything is working well. Okay, so 50 seconds in now. We just finished our miner, so now we have a total of 16 income. We've got something to work with. And also, the creeper is starting to press in on us here. So now we want to start using damper, and this is what we're going to be using most, if not all, of the remaining orbitals for. We want to hold the creeper at bay while we have a chance to build up in this little beachhead that we have created. Then on top of that, I want to throw up some more miners. And using your space economically well is very, very important on this map. So I'm going to throw up 4 of those. And I'm going to want a terp here as well. And then I should have enough to also throw up 4 mortars. We'll do that about like so. And then again, we want to grab all the urns. And this is just enough buildings that we now are grabbing every urn that isn't buried. So as the rain continues, we went from 3.02 million at the start. We've already destroyed about 10% of the creeper on this map. The other 90% will take a little bit longer. And we have to watch when things come up and get built. We also have to watch, as the urns come over, for needing to hit the damper again. And let's see. Okay, now we're out of deficit. We did use up the energy crate there, which is why I wanted it to be in deficit initially. I'm going to throw up one more miner here, but that's it. The rest I'm going to need to just work around. I'll just throw up one of these over here as well. But I'm going to want to put weapons around the edges. And I'm going to throw up some cannons now. And let's just see how this plays out. Time for another damper. And so I just want to... Now we're grabbing a bunch of urns. So let's make sure we've got one there. And let's grab all of those as well. So all of the urns have been claimed. And yeah, okay, now we have energy. So I need to make sure I'm using that. First of all, we're going to terraform. This urn terp is going to clear all this out for us. I want to move everything up to level 7, which is what this level is here. And one of the main reasons for doing this is I want room to build factory and urn portals somewhere where they're not on, you know, the resource terrain here. Then on top of that, we need more mortars. So we'll throw one here. I'm just going to use whatever space I can. Okay, looks like we definitely need some more weapons. Let's go ahead and just throw some out these different places. And I do also want one additional tower to sort of just project out this way. That way we should have full connections to everything. Okay, now we're in the right general ballpark. I'm going to throw up a couple more. And now the creeper is actually going back for the moment. So we have room. We don't need to fire off another damper right away. We can just sort of save those. Fire, fire, fire. And then whatever energy we have, we can utilize that. Okay, let's start moving some of you out. Get you out of the way here. And now the creeper's returning. Wave action very much happening at this moment. And I'm just sort of going to hold here, except for, you know, continuing to build up mortars. Okay. So we're going to now want to throw up an urn portal. And then a factory. Let's sort of fit in some towers around these. And then I want to start also, because we're going to need this eventually. That's going to be too far. But I want to start building some pylons out. And I think I'll just wait until we can move some weapons to do that here. I do want to begin to put up some sprayers as well. We're going to want the sprayers to handle all of our bluite. So we'll put those on always on. And then I am going to throw a tower out this way towards this and out this way. I want to make sure we capture this bluite. And I want to use damper to hold them off from coming too close there. Okay, so you can move out. And then we'll throw a pylon there. And then let's do one over this way as well. Pylon there. And then in addition to those sprayers, I'm going to want to build some more, but first things first. Now I do want to free up at this point all of the urns that are in those, because I want to, in the cannons, because I want to put them here. We are encountering quite a deficit here as some weapons fill up with energy. So we're just going to wait for that to clear itself out. And that's probably close enough, but I want to start firing dampers again. So, yeah, about there should work. Of course, I'm doing the usual big 4 at the urn portal. Make sure we have all of these on. Yeah, they are on always on. And I want to begin moving them out now. Various points around. And then let's build up some more. I'm going to need a total of 10 to 12 sprayers by the time we ramp up our mining as far as it can go. Let's make sure those are always on. There we go. We do still have some extra energy, so let's make sure we're using that. Let's grab a few more mortars around. And I think I am going to want to hit another damper. Again, this is why I saved those. I still have 2 more that I can use. Just making sure. I've got 11 of them. They're all always on. I don't see any problems there. So now I want to just make sure I'm spread around the perimeter. Throwing AC everywhere. Let's also have a pylon. That should work. And how's our upgrades doing? They're about halfway. Getting the fire range and rate in particular up all the way is absolutely huge on this mission. Be able to just throw enough force in to combat everything that's going to be coming our way. But then, you know, some of these mortars that aren't really able to do anything yet. Let's get them in the fight. I think I want to throw down another damper now. %70. You can come out here. And at this point, I'm not too concerned about the cannons. I believe that they've served their purpose. What I do want to do is keep moving out my mortars very slowly. We do have quite a bit of energy. So I'm going to release one urn here. Throw it in another mortar. Want to gradually continue that process. Let's move you out. Let's use our final damper here. We may not need it, but let's use it anyway, just to be safe. and miners. And, you know, we should be pretty good here now to do this without any further pausing being necessary. We want to gradually expand into the creeper. You see we're at 20% reclaim. So we've grabbed this area. But now what we need to do is just continually push out. I'm just going to sort of pull the cannons back, just essentially to get them out of the way. I don't care where the sprayers sit. They're sitting on always on. They're going to keep producing. I want to keep adding some miners as I'm able. Switch out these urns to my mortars. And then, you know, just push my way out into the enemy as possible. There we go. That looks like a pretty good energy balance. I'm not too worried about super efficient miners at this point, but obviously we want to cram as many of them in as we can. I do want to get my sprayers off the resource terrain so that I can do more of this. Okay, so they're down to, you know, about 2/3 now of the initial creeper amount. And we're now moving off the resource terrain, or at least close to its edge. And we are pounding the creeper and gradually expanding. We've actually lost some on the reclaim, weirdly. It's down to less than 20%, but we are headed in the right direction overall, for sure. We actually have some room to push out. And as it begins to expand more and more, then we will be able to mass move, but we're not quite there yet. I'm just making sure we get, you know, our mortars out, and I don't want to push it too far. Alright, let's throw up some more miners in here. That should help us out. I think at this point I'm just going to basically leave all the urns where they are. Just gradually build up some more miners. Oh, you know what? Let's throw up some more. And then increase our energy output with, you know, maybe some towers if we need to. More miners, but just gradually push outward. And, okay, we need some energy connection over here. And I just want to make more room for more mortars, basically. Constant outward push. Now we can really see the creepers starting to recede. Feels like we're starting to turn this battle. We can perhaps move a little bit more aggressively. Create more room to build more mortars. And victory is in our grasp. We simply need to execute it. So I think this map is all about that initial beachhead, singularity and conversion. Reserve enough orbitals for the dampers that you're going to need. You know, and then just use your urns wisely. Concentrate that energy boost and that firepower in that small area you have at the start. Once you realize where you need to begin it. And then now, yeah, now we're moving far enough that I think it's time to start mass moving. You know, just build handfuls of mortars. Push out in all directions. We're now up to almost a third of the reclaim marker. AC is doing well at holding the line, so I can just sort of stretch out my pylons like so. I need to create a little more room on this side, but like over here, I can just do things like this. Let's just fill in up at the front with these mortars as far as that goes. Could try to build bombers or whatever, but there's plenty of access to the enemy. I don't think bombers are going to be that particularly important here. It's more just a matter of, you know, make sure that we're actually moving out. Make sure we keep our mortars in contact with the enemy. And yeah, you're going a little too far. You come back. Energy continues to be fine. So just constantly move forward. We're up to now nearly half. And more to come. Perhaps we could use some more miners, I think, at this stage. It may be time. And while those are going up, forward, forward, always forward. Halfway there. Of course, we don't have to reclaim nearly the whole map. Just a sizable chunk of it here to gain our reclaim victory. The non-stop barrage continues, and the creeper is now down to less than half of its original amount. 1.2 million. And receding all the time, we actually... I mean, we still have a paltry amount of AC in comparison. But that is increasing as well. I think every once in a while, I probably do want to just, you know, pull these a little bit more forward. The sprayers, that is. Just pulling any loose weapons that we've, you know, forgotten back here. Make sure they're getting up. That we can throw in more miners if we need to. All of that working well at the moment. And let's build out some more pylons, I think. Feels kind of risky building them that close to the creeper. With our AC and our mortars, though, almost all of them are going to survive. We did lose one over here, but that was very temporary. And let's throw down some more mortars now. Seems there is never any need for the utility of additional firepower. Or never any end to the utility of additional firepower, I should say. %. We are nearing our objective. Not quite there, but it won't be long. Throw another one over here just because we can. %. Victory is almost ours. 3 million creeper covering the entire map. And yet the forces of humanity will not be stopped. At least, not on this particular mission. And now the reclaim is charging, so we can just sort of sit back and enjoy what we have created. Still, hundreds of thousands of creeper, but, you know, what need is there to clear the rest of it? So that was Orbital Insertion. And our time just under 18 minutes. You can see there's all variety of ones. I think this one is a cheater. The Fireswamp himself has a time of just under 10 minutes on this map. But, you know, they range all over the place. Feel we did decently well here. And so as always, let me know what additional maps you'd like to try. There are already several suggestions out there that I'll be working to get to. But until then, thanks for watching. I thought this was a fun map, definitely challenging. And more Creeper World 4 will continue.